Hi, so today I'll be showing you how to work out a typical exam question on quadratic functions. So let's show you the question, then I'll take you through it. So it says express 2x squared minus 4x plus 1 in the form a x plus b squared plus c, and hence state the coordinates of the minimum point a on the curve y is equal to 2x squared minus 4x plus 1. So let's work out that first question and then we'll go to the next part. So whenever the question asks for this form, we should know this form that says a in brackets x plus b squared plus c. We should know that the question requires us to find or to simply complete the square. So let me show you how to complete the square here. So we have the function f of x, right, which is equal to 2x squared minus 4x plus 1, right? And they want it in the form a in brackets x plus b squared plus c. So what I usually like to do with this question, the first thing I need to make sure here is this function is in standard form, right? So the standard form, wherever standard form, the coefficient of x squared must be equal to 1, right? So I cannot stress that enough. The coefficient of x squared, if you want to complete this square, the coefficient of x squared should always be 1. So here in this case it's not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to factor out the 2. So if I factor out the 2 here, I'm going to have 2x squared divided by 2, which is going to give me x squared, right? X squared minus then negative 4x divided by this 2 is going to give us 2x here, right? Then 1 divided by 2 will simply be 1 over 2. Okay, so now what this allows us to do is to find the square or complete the square of this function that's in the square bracket. Why? Because now the coefficient of x squared, this one, is now 1, right? So that allows us now to finally complete the square. All right, so let's continue. So we still have a square bracket. Now let's complete the square in the square bracket. So the formula here for completing the square that I usually like to follow is this one. So we have x plus b over 2 squared minus b over 2 squared. So what this does, it simplified this part here of the function, this part x squared minus 2x, right? But let's not forget that once we've simplified that, we'll still need to take on our constant c after that, right? So let's do that. So what do? We simply put back our round bracket and then we substitute in this formula over there. So we have x plus b. What's our b? Our b is always the coefficient of x. So our b here is negative 2. So negative 2, right? Then we close the bracket squared minus b over 2. Our b, as I've said, our b is always the coefficient of x. So negative 2 over 2, then squared, right? Then don't forget the constant c. What's our constant c? Constant c is simply that half. Perhaps let me put it in red. Right, so plus c, which is half in this case. Right, so let's continue to simplify. So now what we simply have to do is just to simplify the whole expression. So what we're going to do is we're going to say x plus, so here what we have in the bracket, we have negative 2 divided by 2, right? So that's simply going to be negative 1 squared. Then minus, so it is going to be negative 1 divided by 2, it's going to be negative 1, then squared. Then we put back our plus 1 over 2. Right, then we close the bracket again. So now what's left to do is to continue to simplify until we have the expression in its simplest form. So let's simplify this part here. So this is going to be negative 1 in brackets negative 1 squared. So it's going to be simply 1, then plus this 1 over 2. Right. So let's punch this in the calculator, the constant part. Then we see, so negative 1 plus 1 over 2. I'll punch that in the calculator. Then we see what we have. So we have negative 1 plus 1 over 2. That gives us negative half. So I'll write that. Then we close our square bracket. Right. Then the last part now is to break this square bracket. So by breaking the square bracket, what we're doing is we're multiplying this 2 times this bracket, then also 2 times that constant. So let's do that and see what we get. So what we're simply going to get is the final answer is going to be 2x minus 1 squared, right? Minus 1. So this is now in the form that the question is asking for, right? Which is a, all right, x x plus b, right, squared plus c. So that's the first part. Okay, so next we're going to do the second part. And then the second part says, and hence state the coordinates of the minimum point A of the curve y is equal to 2x squared minus 4x plus 1. Alright, so in order to do this, in order to know the minimum point of the curve or the turning point, we need to know this this fact or this statement, right? So if y is equal to x plus a squared plus b, right? Plus b, then minimum point is in brackets or minimum point, or the coordinates of the minimum point is negative a, b. So these will be the coordinates of the minimum point. Okay, so what we need to do for negative a, we just need to invert the sign of the value of a. Then b, we just write it as it is. So now going back to our question, so it's asking for the minimum point a. So the minimum point, so I'm going to say therefore mean point a for our question is negative. So we have a negative here, but then our a in this case is already negative 1, so we just need to invert the sign as I said before. So it's going to be 1, then our b in this case is negative 1. So these are the coordinates of the minimum point. That's the second part. Okay, so we're going to do part 2 next.